ready. We're ready to boogie downtown.
I haven't turned the mic.
Gina's doing well, thank you. She's doing well.
I mean, I've already had to do more than one get it up to my knees. I think it's freezing. She's gonna
Has there any discussion about how to move forward with this at all?
Well, I mean, to me, I think we're outside, you know.
I understand. I just don't know that, have we gotten any direction from state, anybody about,
We just went ahead and made it. Hopefully June.
well, I was asked about the 4th of July fireworks, you know, because the community garden has things they do, they have to plan, and I said, look, it's just too early to really know exactly what's going to be like. I would like to say we were going to do fireworks. Okay? The question would be, coming up brass would be gathering together, you know, what is that, end of June? You would think we'd be okay, so I'm hopeful.
Well, today, South Carolina opened up a lot of stuff.
It's, you know what's gonna,
Salons, hair salons.
For next week,
Yeah.
yeah, next Monday.
it's gonna come down to how everything responds here, right? Phase 1, phase 2, and then are we gonna have a spike? Are we gonna have issues? You know, the big test will be like Myrtle Beach, you know, the beaches, will be a big test. So I think the results and things like that and the outcomes will dictate a lot of other things.
I'm gonna go live on Facebook. Is that good?
Yeah.
South Carolina numbers are so much different from North Carolina.
All right, we are live on Facebook.
Meaning, are theirs worse or better? I don't know.
She asked me a question. I
Oh,
was responding to it.
gotcha.
I was just making a statement.
You asked me a question, I just answered.
All right, let's get started. Bring our meeting to order. I'll call on Mayor Pro Tem David Moore to have our invocation.
Let us pray. Our dear Heavenly Father, we do thank you for this day, for the opportunity to serve you, Lord, in the capacity with the city. Lord, we thank you for all that you do for us. We ask for your guidance today. We ask for your direction, Lord, and all the decisions that we make. Lord, continue to be with us and help us through these trying times, Lord. We ask all these things in your precious and heavenly name.
Amen. Thank you. As you know, we are live streaming these. We encourage people to, we have a training room if you'd like to come and attend. But obviously, we can only have 10 people in the room, and we are practicing 6 feet apart. So appreciate your understanding as we go through times, unprecedented times, we'll put it that way. Next is to set the agenda. We have 4 other items on the agenda. Are there any questions on the agenda? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Motion by Ms. Shoemaker, second by Mr. Moore. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. First item is our consent agenda. There's one item. Any questions? Motion to approve or question? Okay.
I just wanted to, is this on? I can't tell. I just want to put on the record that this was a community effort. I think these were the funds that were left over. There was a group that decided to recognize first responders, and our streets and solid waste folks were also included in that. And then what was left over after they fed them, and this was all your volunteer fire departments, the police department, our regular fire department, sanitation department, all those folks were fed, and then what was left over, this was the money they gave back to the city to buy PP&E. So I just wanted to make sure that folks had that on the record, that the community came together. I think he started out asking for about $230, and he got pretty close to $3,000, if I remember right. So community came out strong to support our folks that are out there working hard.
And I know he is Brian Green, and he should be applauded for his efforts. And I know he doesn't want that, so I'm not doing that because he wants it. He did it because he wanted to. But we appreciate him organizing that, bringing it together, all the participation from the community, and we'll certainly be recognizing that once we are able to get back to normal. Motion by Mr. Meadows, second by Ms. Polish. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. Number 5, consideration to approval of a resolution to accept the bid to sell the property located at West Catawba Avenue and Legion Road. Mr. Michael. Mr. Michael is on phone.
Can you hear me okay?
I think if you could hold it in front of the mic.
Can you hear me?
I think that's better. Yes.
Okay. So, as you recall from last time, the council gave tentative approval of the purchase of the cemetery by a group called Pine View Consultants, LLC. And since that time, the city has advertised as required of the potential sale. There were no upset bids. The agreement then came on for a slight change. There's a paragraph 8 added, and I just want to briefly mention what paragraph 8 is. That paragraph, the city is agreeing to give notice to the tenant, the city's tenant, within 3 business days of the date of the contract of the termination of the lease with Gastonia Ironworks. Now, under the lease with Gastonia Ironworks, the tenant is entitled to 90 days of prior notice before the termination date. If, and this is a new paragraph, if the tenant doesn't vacate the premises and remove his assets within the 90 days, then the city has 5 business days to bring an action in court to eject the tenant. So that is a new provision. If then we have to take ejectment proceedings, then the closing of the sale will take place within 5 business days following the lease termination date. Also, if he does remove his assets within his 90 days of notice, then the closing will occur within 5 business days following the lease termination date. Otherwise, the document is as it was when it came before you last time. So there's 2 resolutions that would be in order should the council choose to go forward. The first one would be to pass on the resolution entitled Resolution Regarding the Contract to Sell Pine View Cemetery. And there's a resolution number. It would need a little A in the blank. And that particular resolution is the council's agreement to sell in accordance with the contract you had previously discussed for $255,000. Should that pass, the second resolution you have is a resolution to notify our tenant, Gastonia Ironworks, that they have 90 days after the date of the contract to terminate and remove their assets. Are there any questions?
No, Kemp, there aren't any questions.
Okay, that's all I have.
Hearing no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve, and that would be Resolution 0511-2020A. Motion by Ms. Harris, second by Mr. McCorkle. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. Next item is consideration approval to terminate the lease agreement with Gastonia Ironworks. Are there any questions for Mr. Michael in this regard? Mr. Michael, did you want to add anything before we move forward?
No, sir, not that I can think of, unless Marie knows of something.
No, sir.
Okay. Does council wish to take action on 0511-2020B, termination of lease with Gastonia Ironworks? If so, I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Meadows, second by Ms. Shoemaker. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes. Kemp, Marie, thank you so much for all your hard work on this. It's been a long process, but we appreciate you seeing it through. Next item is closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A3 and 5. I'll entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Moore, second by Ms. Harris. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. We are in closed session.